have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity.
We know the air is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy.
Silence! The great and powerful Oz knows why you have come.
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it! My life has value. You have meddled with the primal forces of nature.
Don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts.
With Jason Bermas.
And who loves you? And who do you love?
Well, I can tell you one thing. The media absolutely adores Ray Epps for some reason. And look, normally the news of the day isn't something that I gravitate towards as the main part of my show. But it's a 2-hour show, number one. And number two, this is important on a lot of levels. Number one, it shows the media that is completely discredited, 60 Minutes in particular. I'm going to show you one short clip before we even play the full Ray Epps 60 Minutes bit. And look, they released 3 minutes of it on YouTube. It's like a 10-plus minute fluff piece on this guy. And it's not even a fluff piece. I want to be very clear before we get going. I have zero new information that would either confirm Ray Epps to have worked with any type of law enforcement agency. Zero. None. And I'm not going to make any accusations that he was clearly a Fed or a federal asset, or any of those things. Not going to say that. I'm not going to entrap myself. Because we're in the post-truth world, and people have to understand that it's not just the FBI, it's not just the NSA, it's not just an asset or an informant. There are so many things going on that through legalese and language, really, you can create your own reality. So you have to be extremely careful. And then the other thing is, January 6th has been referred to again and again and again and again as a national security incident. And once a national security incident happens, all bets are off, everything is off the table, and they're allowed to lie to you. They have created loopholes to lie to you and everybody else. And they've made it, quote unquote, legal. Legal. Through years and years and years of bureaucracy and the expansion of that bureaucracy, and quite frankly, the general populace not having a spine and not standing up to atrocities that were in our face via 9/11, really. Every time I think about 60 Minutes and all these other ones, you know, they've lied so much about that incident. They should never be trusted ever again. Ever, ever, ever again. They have no credibility. They haven't since then. Period. And then again, the nightmare we all lived through the last several years speaks for itself. I still can't speak about it in any sort of detail here we have to go to another platform to do so. So before EPS, we'll play a clip of Leslie Stahl and Donnie T when Donnie T is the president and he's running against Biden. And she just straight up looks him in the face, tells him there is no scandal with Joe Biden and his son and that laptop. It's a non-scandal. Not number one. That right there obviously has been discredited, but every time you hear about it, there's a far right and conservative media. No. No. Look, I could care less about Hunter Biden and his wang dangle if that didn't compromise him, number one, okay, that he wasn't involved in all sorts of crooked dealings with his father, pay-to-play gangster style. And then there are allegations that go far beyond that are very tough to corroborate, that may or may not involve people underage, period. All that stuff does concern me. That is a scandal. It would be a scandal anywhere. I mean, just number one, let's take surface level of he's not in a scandal. If your son had you in their phone as pedo Peter, if that was a thing, you failed as a father. No matter what's on the surface level, you failed as a father. And it just brings up numerous questions that would also involve what? The Ashley Biden diary, that apparently is also a non-scandal. But the coup de grace of that clip, again, hate Trump, love Trump, it doesn't matter. We have to go into a place called reality and what was going on. His campaign was obviously spied on from the beginning, from the outset, 100%. It's not debatable. And he says that to her, and she goes, no, so I have to stop you. She has to stop him. That's the kind of journalism that 60 Minutes is. Literally told a sitting president, love him or hate him, there was no scandal with his opponent, with just, with glee, really. And then told him again that the national security apparatus didn't spy on his campaign. But again, I'm misinformation. I'm disinformation. I'm the bad guy. So look, before we get to the EPS piece and 60 Minutes before that, and I've got a slew of other clips on a few other topics that I do want to talk about. I want to do some housekeeping. When I make a mistake, I admit the mistake. So, we were talking about RFK quite extensively. It might have been in the first hour, second hour. I talked about his throat. I had said I thought that it was cancer. I wasn't sure about it. No, it's not. It's some other type of disorder. We want to get that out of the way. Hate getting things wrong, period. But when we do, we admit it. We're human beings. We make mistakes. If I was going to be 100% right all the time, I wouldn't be a human. That's not a real thing. I'd kind of be the anti-AI. Because AI doesn't exist and it's just programmed to control you at this point, and it always will be. Someone will always control the AI. That's also one of those things they're not telling you. And then I just kind of want to talk about like legitimate criticisms and then just outright trolling and what that means. And really, later on, I want to talk about big grifts too. But we'll get into that when we get into the psychic arena. That might even be an hour too. But grifting comes up a lot. And what do I think a grifter is on any level? When I think grifter, I think somebody that is knowingly telling you information they don't believe, okay, for a certain outcome, usually to enrich themselves. And there are plenty of them in every single arena of life. Every one. Make no mistake about it. It's just, unfortunately, the world we live in, right? I wish things were different. They're not. That's just the way it is. So look, you've got to take information from all angles, right? All angles. And as far as like criticisms I don't think are legitimate. One, I saw somebody in my comment section about, I think it was the Woody Harrelson video, the last video we did over at Red Voice. And they talked about trans propaganda. I'm putting out trans propaganda in the first couple of minutes. Look, we're going to get into it later. We're going to talk about ecto-life. We're going to talk about a world of artificial babies and the upside-down world of unzipped jeans. And whether somebody likes it or not, that this whole trans movement is one of transhumanism, ultimately. It is disassociating you from your biological reality so you can infinitely identify as whatever you like. And you can say that's a far-right idea, but I ain't far-right, and I don't know that Martine Rothblatt's far-right, and I don't know that the people that are advocating this, which are on a massive level at this point. You see it everywhere in our culture. We've been slowly groomed. I know you guys hate that word, but we've been groomed to accept it. Goes beyond children, just so everybody knows. No, as a society, we have been groomed to accept digital slavery on a multitude of levels, and ultimately, they want us to accept this transhumanist future. That's real. So that person's criticism, are they a troll? Do they not get it? Are they just completely triggered by the idea that basically this movement isn't one of liberation and civil rights? I don't know. But there's a little housekeeping on that. And then I want to just quite frankly talk about how a lot of people don't know this, but I am attacked on so many levels. Obviously, the mainstream media doesn't love my stuff, right? Don't get me wrong. I feel a lot of love. I did an interview this weekend with a couple of guys that are doing a video documentary on Zorro Ranch. And, I ultimately forgot. I was actually going to play that video. We still might do that if we have time, but maybe we'll save it for tomorrow, where, I played the Menudo video from years ago. And with Zorro Ranch and Epstein and the fact that it was never investigated, there was one story in particular I forgot about talking with them. That was the biggest thing. And I talked about a ton of stuff with these guys. But it was the connection of Courtney Love and Epstein and the allegations that Courtney Love's father had made about what they did to the vast majority of the girls that were involved in those rings. And it's not good. Okay? And that video is still up. Perhaps we'll play it, but I think, again, it shows how ahead of the curve we are. And I think on a lot of levels, we're attacked because of that. I have people that attack me just to try to get attention because they don't get a lot of attention. And quite frankly, I would imagine that their home lives are awful. Their apps, their actual, this, don't get me wrong. This is very much a part of my life. I got a lot more going on every day. Every day. They don't have real family interactions. They don't have friends. Those things, a social life is important, guys. Human interaction is so important. So they delve into these worlds. And then you have people that are either completely delusional, but then they always end up in court with people. See, that's always something that's oh. And anytime I see somebody in court with somebody all the time, I back up. I don't even say their name. I ignore them. I put them on mute. I don't care. And then one final thing before we get to the Epps video and the Trump video and 60 Minutes and how terrible they are. I've seen the criticism now. Oh, you're a sellout. You bought the blue check mark. Still don't have it, by the way. And again, I only bought that the day they cut me off from video streaming, thinking that would solve the issue. Right? And they act like, oh, you didn't get confirmation. That was first of all, I haven't been verified. I paid for a full year. We're working on almost 2 weeks. I guess we'll wait up to 2 months before we really complain and maybe file something with the Better Business Bureau. But just so everybody understands, out of my own pocket, I pay to stream on Podbean. I pay to stream on Rumble. And now I'm paying basically for that check mark so I can stream and put longer videos out on Twitter because I want to get this information out. And people could say, oh, well, you're using their systems. I have to use their systems. They're the biggest systems out there. A hammer is a hammer, man. Do you get it? It's already an unlevel playing field. What am I supposed to do? Bend the knee and give up? No. I'm going to double down. I'm gonna play the game to a point where hopefully I can disrupt the system. It's about reaching the people that are scrolling through cat videos as much as it's reaching the audience that might become active. You never know who you're reaching. And finally, another reason we're focusing on EPS today is because a lot of people are going to get convicted in January 6th this week, maybe next week. But I just want people to be prepared. The narrative is pushed here on 60 Minutes that the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys, right? They planned an insurrection. They've got the evidence. They don't present any of the evidence. That's nonsense. But these people are in D.C. courts, okay, with the full weight of the government up against them. And I think that the only way that these people are not going to serve the maximum sentences is after they get convicted. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's a shocker. I hope that some of these guys actually get let off. But look what they did to those people in Michigan. It's almost like double jeopardy. Some of them got off and then all of a sudden they didn't. It's all optics. So in my opinion, I think that if they're able to get an appeal and then a change of venue some years down the line, eventually they may have them overturned. I mean, you look at Chansley, and really just because Tucker put that video out, make no mistake, that's what did it. Once Tucker put that video out, all of a sudden he's in a halfway house. He's supposed to serve several more years in prison. And they wanted to make examples of these people. Okay? So let's start. And by the way, thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. Like it, email it, tell people the show's on. Remember to subscribe over on Rumble to the Red Voice Media channel as well. And we will be heading at the top of the hour to the premium section, redvoicemedia.com/Jason or redvoicemedia.com/uncensored. I want to remind people it's only $10 a month, $1 to sign up for the first week, or lock it in, support the broadcast, truth in journalism, speaking up. I mean, we're trying to make it any way we can here, and any way we can by telling the truth, by the way. $100 for the year. Helps a lot. Save 20. All right. So I want to play the clip. And this is Donnie T and Leslie Stahl. I want to remind everybody what liars these people are. Because they're proven and proud liars. Make no mistake about it. They love lying. And look at the glee at which Leslie Stahl just lies in Trump's face.
You know what?
You like this, I thought. I thought you liked
I don't mind it. I don't mind it. But when I watch him walk out of a store, and he's walking with an ice cream, and the question the media asks him, what kind of ice cream, what flavor ice cream do you have?
And she laughs about it. Yes, we do that. Oh. Yeah, no, we do that. Yes. We like his ice cream, Donnie.
And he's in the midst of a scandal.
He's not.
And he's taking...
Look, she's so happy. She just laughed in his face about the ice cream thing. And now she's going to tell him he's not in a scandal. There is no Hunter Biden laptop. He's not. We like his ice cream.
Of course he is,
no.
Leslie.
Come on.
Of course he is. It's the biggest, second biggest scandal.
So,
the biggest scandal was when they spied on my campaign. They spied on my campaign,
there's
Leslie.
no real evidence.
There's no real evidence. We decide what's real. We're the authoritative source. Look at this. Has there ever been a retraction or an apology for any of this? But I'm supposed to hail to St. Epps after a 10-minute fluff and nutter piece. My goodness.
Of that?
Of course there is.
No.
It's all over the place. Leslie,
Sir,
they spied on my campaign and they got caught.
Can I say something? You know, this is 60 Minutes, and we can't put on things we can't verify.
You won't put it on because it's bad for Biden.
We can't
Look,
put on things we can't verify.
Leslie, they spied on my campaign.
Well, we can't verify
It's been totally
that.
verified.
No.
It's been, just go down and get the papers. They spied on my campaign, they got caught.
No.
And
She's now said no to him. No. 3 times she's told him no. that this did not happen. It's in his imagination. He's the president of the United States. No. We got to bring it back. We got to bring it back to the first. I'm sorry. We have to watch it again. The first no. So when you see anything on 60 Minutes, anything, they have no journalistic integrity whatsoever. Period.
My campaign. They spied on my
Well,
campaign.
there's no
Leslie.
real evidence of that.
Of course there is.
No.
It's all over the place. Leslie,
Sir,
they spied on my campaign and they got caught.
Can I say something? You know, this is 60 Minutes.
She's like lecturing him like she's his mommy. Sir, this is 60 Minutes. It's scolding him like a child while she just outright goes no and lies to his face.
And we can't put on things we can't
No,
verify.
you won't put it on because it's bad for Biden.
We can't
Look, let me
put
tell
on
you.
things we can't verify.
Leslie, they spied
And-
on my campaign.
Well, we can't verify
It's been totally
that.
verified.
No.
It's been, just go down and get the papers. They spied on my campaign, they got caught.
No.
And then they went much further than that, and they got caught. And you will see that, Leslie, and you know that, but you just don't want to put it on the air.
As a matter of fact, I don't know that.
Okay.
No. As a matter of fact, I don't know that. No. So when these people come out and they start talking Ray Epps to me in any way, shape, or form, and by the way, they play with the insurrection and they show the evidence to Ray. There's one point, guys, I literally laughed out extremely hard. I mean, I lost it. I had to pause it when I first watched this clip this morning. Okay, because look, I'd seen the 3-minute clip they put out. I wasn't going to watch 60 Minutes last night. I tried to get to bed early. I think I tried to go to bed at like 10 p.m. my time, and I just tossed and turned all night long. I got some sleep, but it kind of sucked. Well, it wasn't the kind of sleep that I would enjoy. Because I think about this stuff. I think how absurd. No. And there's just a moment in that new 60 Minutes piece that is just, it's over the top. But again, we're in the post-truth world, everybody. Make no mistake. That is where we are. So, let's see. I want to make sure we're nice and queued up right to the intro of how lovely they play it. Because some of the misnomers right out of the gates and how they're preparing you for this narrative are outright lies and deceptions on their own. So let's do it. This is 60 Minutes loves Ray Epps, because everybody never been an FBI source or employee, according to the FBI. There it is. Case closed, everybody. No more worrying. No more worrying at all. Nope. Man, I had these monster stories. I don't know if I can do them justice in just the 5 minutes I have, especially because this was Ray Epps heavy. I might save those for tomorrow because I got a bunch of clips I want to play on the other side of this. I got a 6-minute Tuckins clip where really he talks about the nature of what's going on as being evil. And that's something that I do want to talk about, because when people ask me what my religious perspectives are, right? Just like when they ask me what my political perspectives are, they're a little bit more nuanced, right, than most, I would say. So I'm not a conservative. I'm not a liberal. I wouldn't even paint myself as a libertarian. A lot of people love that. I'm a constitutionalist at best, but at the end of the day, I'm also a human being, right? And obviously there were enough loopholes in our Constitution that our national security state got out of control. But to me, at least in its inception, it's that perfectly imperfect document. And then I often get asked what I believe religiously. And I say, look, I'm agnostic at best. And for those that don't know what agnosticism is I believe there very well could be a God or a deity. At the same time, I don't think that you could ever prove it, right? And I do believe that there is some type of force or intelligent design, whether you want to call that God or not, or nature or whatever. And I'm not here to give you some Gaia religion either. But ultimately, what I believe in that sense, in that force, in that consciousness, that good and evil exist. They're not abstract ideas just based on social mores and experiences. They're not. There is inherent good and there is inherent evil. And I feel like on a daily basis, time and time again, we are experiencing inherent evil. And we must push back against that inherent evil. And that's why I think that, the documentary films I put out there are an important tool. This show is an important tool. Maybe it was a little long-winded today, but I guarantee you most people are just going to be playing the 3-minute clip they put on YouTube or clips from Twitter. They're not going to break down the whole thing. They're not going to show you the Leslie Stahl for reference, etc. I like to do things a little bit different here. And aside from the Tuckins clip, I've also got some Andy Jacobson. I've also got Bryce on Tucker, which is something I was talking about playing like 2-3 weeks ago. Not just because I love MMA, but because, a country boy like Bryce, man, he gets it more than most. And that he says things on Tucker there's no way that you could say on YouTube. So we'll leave that for the second half of the broadcast. Thank God there are rock fins, and thank God there are Rumbles. And I get it, Rumble's not perfect. They got Peter Thiele boy, the old Thielmeister, as one of the major investors. So I'm not blind to that. Thumbs it up, subscribe, share. Remember, you can listen to the whole thing free. The next hour, we're far from done. We do another hour. Quite frankly, some of the clips are even better than the Ray Epps stuff. If we get to ecto-life and the artificial womb stuff, which we probably will get to. I mean, that'll probably be the meat and potatoes of the second half of the second hour, last 30 minutes of the show. So consider coming over, redvoicemedia.com/Jason, redvoicemedia.com/uncensored. Try it for $1. You don't like it, give it up, but you might like it. $10 a month or $100 for the year. Tell them Jason Bermas sent you. That's the cue to my producer to flip it over as we say goodbye to you guys. I wish we were saying goodbye to 3 different places. But unfortunately, we are not anymore because we're not on the Twitter. So Rockfin, I love you.